Did that fix anything? Did that fix the sound? Definitely not muted. But YouTube has done that a couple times where there is no sound. So I wonder if this fixed it. We'll find out in a couple seconds. Oh, awesome. Carolyn says, hey, Nick, loud and clear. Oh, good. So it sounds like we got sound back. Yeah, so that was weird. YouTube's been doing that. Sometimes there's no sound, no visual. But I just exited out YouTube, opened back up, and problem solved. What's up, sub dog? We got some brownies. There was more in there. I was showing you guys before, but there was no sound. And we got some cookies, unopened cookies. You can't go wrong. Well, just did a quick workout. A second, recovery workout before I hopped on the live, just real quick. It was probably 5 to 10 minutes, nothing crazy, just some elbow flexors. But I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I got the old school, the Macy wrist flexion. We'll probably do a couple sets with it, mess around with it. Maybe we'll start using it for recovery workouts. So let's see. Carolyn says, let's go, Nick. I was just watching Thomas Didi video from Christmas party. It was like a replay of the Natty Bros. All the cool people there. Absolutely. It was a fun day. It was a fun day. But that's what the video is up there. You can kind of relive it all the time. Carolyn says, nice, Nick. Absolute gains. Definitely true. Well, I'm not sure what Max is talking about, but maybe Max likes arm wrestling. Maybe they have a favorite arm wrestler. So that being said, who's your favorite arm wrestler, Max? Yeah, Carolyn, this thing is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's older than me. I think it's from the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. But guys, remember to hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Definitely helps the channel with the old algorithm. Now, I don't think anybody fully understands it, but it's important for the YouTubers. But let's see. Max says my favorite arm wrestler is the guy who looks like Wolverine. Now, I'm pretty sure you mean Devin Lorette. But yeah, if you mean Devin, that's a good pick. But I think isn't Wolverine isn't he like 5 feet tall? Devin might be too tall to play Wolverine. Oh, so it looks like Subdog got cleared out of all the snow, so that's good. Max says, yep, so he's talking about Devin, so that's a good choice. And Subdog says Prudnick or Devin. So is there a match? Is that match happening? Because I have, even at the same weight, even if they're coming down to if Devin's coming down to heavy, I got Devin winning. I mean, I don't think it's going to be easy. Maybe 3-1, but I think Prudnick's best bet is to, go for the flash pin. And if you could do that, depending on if it's a best of 5 or a best of 7, 3 or 4 times, that gets tricky. Carolyn says, Nick, I just saw the table at the Christmas party and had flashbacks of the pin line failure. LOL. I wonder if Chance used it to buy time. I'll have to click through that video frame by frame. LOL. Yeah, do a little investigation. You'd be like a what's it called? A detective, a little detective work. Subdog says Prudnick would be great then. Yeah, I think he means at the same weight, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I definitely think that's his only. I don't think he'd have a chance with versus Big Devin. Yeah, but that's interesting. Carolyn says 2 likes only. Don't worry, Carolyn. It's a good thing you brought that out because we were getting more, so we appreciate that. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. Look something like this. Just minus the tattoo. Let's see. Subdog says it's all in the air now. I think Levon might have a bicep tear. Oh no, that stinks. And it sounds like it's his right arm. It sounds like it's his right arm. If that's the case, that definitely stinks. I'm sure like many people, I was me and many other people were looking forward to that, Levon Vitali match. But maybe if that is the case, I'm just thinking out loud. My first thought is maybe Devin, if maybe he'll step up and, maybe he'll have an option to pull. Because I'm sure that match would bring just as much pay-per-views, if not more. So that's interesting. But I'll have to look into that, see if Levon really tore his bicep, because that would definitely stink. I wonder if he did it if he did, I'm kind of thinking he did it in the gym, probably. Subduck says Prudnick would be a great Wolverine. Oh yeah, definitely. I think he'd be a good Wolverine. And what's Wolverine's from that X-Men movie? I don't know which one, but either like early 2000s, maybe 90s. Was it Sabretooth? Devin could play Sabretooth because he's like I think he's taller. So that'd be a good match. They could both dress up as the superheroes. That is funny. Allie says, Merry Christmas to all. Absolutely, Merry Christmas. Let's see. Subdog says, Lon being out is good. Means lots will try hard for that number 1, knowing Lon is out. Yeah, I definitely could see that. Yeah, it's tricky. There definitely could be a lot of good things coming from it, but I was really looking forward to that match, Levon versus Vitali. I was very interested, but you never know; could still be on. But I have a feeling if Levon can't make the match, Devin might be pulling Vitali. So friend says, did you see the Ingen Arthur match? I only saw a couple seconds from one round. I didn't see the whole video. But yeah, it was interesting. I heard it was pretty dominant by England. I think we were talking about that this morning. I think. But yeah, I haven't watched it yet. But I know that pronation's hard to deal with. Brian, what's up, man? Kalen says, Nick, I tried to do the old baseball pass back and forth to hands with the tennis ball. I got a long way to go. You must have done that for a long time. Yeah, I've done it. I've been experimenting with it for a little bit, just for hand-eye coordination for arm wrestling, quick hands. But I used to play a little baseball, so maybe that's what it's from. So Kalen says, Nick, do you think there is a very exciting event before or after April 25th in the Northeast? LOL. I definitely do. There's going to be a lot of them. It's not locked in yet, but the Dungeon Super Series 2 is in the works. So I'm very excited about that one. Subdog says Devin versus Vitaly will be unreal. I definitely will. I guess I'm equally as interested in both of the matches. It's going to be interesting. Carolyn says, awesome. Sounds good, Nick. Dungeon Super Series. Absolutely. It's only a matter of time. Oh, maybe this would be a good time. Let's try this out. Got to make a little adjustment. Oh, so this might be a little tricky to do with not too much light, but we'll get it done. If you're wondering what I'm messing around with, you might have seen it already. If not, once I get this last bolt in, I'm just going to find the... there we go. Just got to lock everything up. Got the old school Macy wrist flexion. I didn't even think about this. It might be super squeaky. Oh, not too bad. Just nice and easy. Maybe I don't know if you guys can hear the squeak. It kind of sounds like a small goose. A little wrist flexion. Very interesting. Now, the tricky part is getting your arm back out after you got a pump. Brian says the workout went long today, like 3.5 hours. I haven't done one of those in a while. That's a good one. That's a good one right there. Carolyn says 11 people, 6 likes. Let's get those likes up. Carolyn says, thank you very much, Carolyn. Carolyn also says, damn, Brian, that's so awesome. Definitely is. And she says that's awesome, like a bionic arm. Definitely, absolutely. So dog says Robocop in the rain. LOL. Very true. Very true. Should get a nice extra pump with the brownies. Let's see. Looks like some words of wisdom. Oh, be careful, man. So let's see. Some reason. Touchscreen's not working. Well, I'm trying to delete this comment, but for some reason the touchscreen's not working. So I know we got some heavy hammer moderators in the chat. If anyone wants to, we'll give this guy a warning. Just delete that second comment. If anyone can see that, any of the moderators, for some reason my touchscreen is not working. Tried pretty much every finger so far. Let's see. Good old YouTube, always making it nice and easy. Drew, here's the squeak. Well, Drew, if you're still in the chat, if you want to hook me up and just delete the comment before your comment about the squeak comment, or if anyone else sees that comment that's a moderator, if they could just delete that comment real quick, because some reason I still can't get this touchscreen to work. It's like that good old technology, remember? When it's good, it's good, and when it's not, it's not. What? Let's see. I keep trying, but I'm sure I missed a lot in the chat. Slipdog says, think Brzezinski will pull soon? Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. I wonder who. I wonder who. No, I know promoters like to throw big, strong dudes at John, so my first thought is maybe he'll pull one of the strongmen that are starting to get into arm wrestling. I don't know if it could be interesting. I mean, I remember hearing a while ago, John versus Brian Shaw. So that could be interesting. Well, how about you guys? Who do you think John Brzezinski should pull? Brian says hit some rolling tricep, but with a plate, felt pretty good. That's what I'm talking about. Carolyn says I see great pics of Angie Rhodes out with Ron Bath last week, cancer free, I believe. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Drew says who? Oh, so what's that? Whatever his name is. You know, if you could just delete those comments or one of them, the second to last one, the one from 7:49 p.m. That'd be awesome. Because for some reason I'm not able to click on anything. Let's see. Brian said I don't see it. He's probably already banned. Could be. But I see it. So maybe YouTube got him. Drew says all I see is RoboCop comment. Very interesting. So maybe YouTube blocked him because I think he used some words that YouTube definitely does not like. Let's see. Subdog says, "Where's Nightbot when you need him?" Very true. I guess he only comes out in the morning. I guess. Subdog says John versus Nic Stone. I'd definitely pull John. I would just hope he would, as healthy as possible. Because I know he had that back injury, the back surgery. So I just hope before he takes a match, he's, as close to 100% as, physically possible. Drew says, what name, though? It is, let me scroll up, Wiza I. Wiza_I. That's the name, Drew. So Doug says, I turned on all messages, and then I saw it. Sometimes, come on, Nightbot. Oh, there it is. Thanks for putting the ad right there. I appreciate that, Subdog. Carolyn says, Nick, when you were pulling was there anybody filming your matches or a channel to look out for? I'm not sure. There might have been. There were phones everywhere. So I'm just not sure about, who has them or when they're going to post them, Some people, because editing sometimes takes a lot. Oh, but thank you very much, Brian. Looks like Brian got him. I appreciate that. So now we won't get kicked off of YouTube. Yeah, I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure about the video. But if I see anything, I'll let you know. Okay, this says, yeah, I didn't see the person either. Hashtag Nightbot. Brian says, I got him. I didn't have all the messages on. Subdog got me there. And that's why we're a good team. That's why we're a good team, guys. It's all coming together. If I would share some of these brownies with you guys. But I don't think I can right now. Caitlin says, thanks, Nick. Absolutely. And Brian says, my first removal, LOL. All right, that's good. Everyone remembers their first removal, their first, swing of the moderator hammer. So, some reason I can click on the games. I don't know if you watched before. We played a couple. We played a little game. YouTube has a game now that you can play on the live. That works perfect. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Kaylee, what's up, man? This is Merry Christmas, bro. Gonna be at the dungeon Saturday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be at the dungeon. The old Christmas dungeon party. 95.99% sure I'll be there, unless something crazy happens, like a meteor or something like that. But how about you, Caleb? You gonna be there? I'm pretty sure you will be. Do some arm wrestling and Christmas partying. Sup Dog says I'm excited for my kid to be on the Lucky Ones. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. That's gonna be an awesome one. It's this Saturday, right? Is this Sup Dog? Is it this Saturday? I know we talked about it this morning. I remember that it starts at 10 p.m. Now I can't remember the day. Is it Saturday that you guys are hopping on the podcast? Kayla says, you look like you got some good gains from your lift before. You went live. What did you train, Nick? Oh, I definitely did. Let's see. I think you're talking about the one right before this video. I just did some, it was real quick, like 5 or 10 minutes. Just some cable, did some riser curls on the cable pretty much. I just went back and forth for a couple sets, just real quick. But definitely got the recovery in. So Dog says the 10th. All right. I'm not sure what day that falls on, but I should be able to remember the 10th. That's what I'm talking about. If anyone hasn't already, make sure you check out the Lucky Ones podcast. Lucky's got some good videos up there. Caleb says, hi, Caleb. Caleb, the interviewer of Macho Man. He definitely was. He was one of the interviewers. If I'm not mistaken, he was one of the cameramen as well. Or we set up his camera on the stairs, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's definitely that one. Carolyn. Carolyn says, if so, great work, Caleb. Absolutely, I agree. Ryan says, that's awesome, bro. Lucky does a good job. We'll check it out for sure. Absolutely. I'll definitely check it out as well. I'm sure everyone else in the chat will definitely check it out because it's going to be a good one. Caleb says, hell yeah, I'm definitely going to stop in at least. Should be early too. And yeah, Callan, that was me. And Merry Christmas to you and the chat too. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much, Caleb. Merry Christmas to you too. So Dog says January 10th. Okay, all right, excellent. So now we know the month. So Doug says, oh yeah, definitely true. All capitals, so you know he's screaming. Caleb says, awesome, bro. Bro. Glad to hear. 'Tis the season. I must be tongue-tied with all the brownies. That's probably what it is. So let's see. Brian says, seeing Caleb in here made me remember when we took practice to the park and picked up the big mechanic on the team for a bit. I don't think I was at that one. Was that the one with Mike in Torrington? Or was that the one at the Waterbury Park with the big fountain? Because I was at that one. I think you mean the one in Torrington. But I want to say his name was Chris. The mechanic's name was Chris, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this is, oh yeah, that guy's definitely strong too. Absolutely. If only he'd get back to practicing. That's a very good question. Caleb says, thanks, Caleb. Merry Christmas to you too. Caleb, who is your Christmas Supermatch wish list? So what's on your wish list for super matches, Caleb? Carolyn wants to know. Brian says Brownie Banter would be a good video title. Hello. It definitely would be. It definitely would be. Caleb says Columba and Peasley. That's who I'm gunning for. Hello. As always. Well, Caleb, whatever you do, just wash your hands when you're done. So Brian says, yeah, Cole Park. He saw us pulling by the cannon. Okay, yep. Now I wasn't there, but I remember you guys saying the cannon. So that's cool. Caleb agrees. Is pulling by the cannon. That's awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's a real cannon, or it's real, but it was used at one point. Brian says his dad was strong AF. He definitely was. Yeah, the whole entire family was strong. There was a couple practices where they brought the father and three brothers. They're all strong. Subdog says, I want to see Zurab versus Pork Chop rematch. That could be interesting. Pork Chop's been looking pretty good. I would definitely like to see that rematch as well. Caleb says, laugh out loud. Definitely bring in the sanitizer. 100% germs will die. That's good. That's good. You got to watch out with those guys. You never know. Caleb says, damn, Caleb wants a tomahawk. I think he does. He's one of those twisted individuals that like the mutilation that's caused by the tomahawk. Or should I say the tomahawk? Caleb, I'm not going to read that out loud, but I know what you're talking about. You got to watch out for that guy. Caleb says, so Caleb, which was your favorite match from the Dungeon Super Series? That's a great question. That's a great question. What is your favorite match, Caleb? And he says, definitely love the tomahawk. Definitely true. Caleb says, probably Columba Ice just because Ron was on fire. Plus, I got to see his prep the most. Yeah, it's always nice, seeing someone get stronger, seeing him prep, and then seeing everything all, come to plan. Okay, this says good man, Nick. Good man. LO. See you then, bro. See you then, man. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out while you could on this merry day known as Christmas. Brian says, if I had to choose a first series match for myself when I thought I was at my top form, it would be Ice. That could be interesting. That could be very interesting. Um, I'd like to see that match. That's interesting. How much time you need, Brian, to get to your top form? We could probably make that happen. Ice has been messaging me saying he's been itching. He goes, hey, what's going on with the Dungeon Super Series 2? I'm getting that. He's getting the old itch. He wants to pull. 6 months. How about 3? How about 2? How about 2? How about 3? Because I think, let's see. It could be anywhere from 3 to 6. I don't think 6 is going to be that. Well, for the Dungeon Super Series, I don't think it'll be 6. That's too far. More like 3. Just something to think about. Just something to think about during your 3.5 hour workouts. You know, just something to maybe help you stay motivated. Carolyn says, Nick, do you think you will have someone from outside the Northeast at the next Dungeon Super Series? Yeah, I definitely don't see why not. The first one, we've reached as far as Georgia, the state of Georgia. So maybe it's time we reach out to some, try to get some guys from the West. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I think so far the furthest athlete away from the dungeon is like a 24 hour, maybe 20-hour drive. I'm not sure. But we could probably beat that at the next one. Brian says, "Oh, I know my weak points now, so I'll know in 1 month if I can bring them up enough to face someone at his level." All right, let me know, man. Let me know. I mean, he's definitely one of the top guys in the weight class. He's been there for a long time. I mean, he's been in the sport for at least 15 years. So it's interesting. Kaylin also says interesting. Nick, thanks. Absolutely. Very interesting. Brian says maybe if I keep hitting like that one hit Tuesday without breaking my arm, I'll level up with a little laughing face with a few tears. I see the smile is happy, but I see those tears are sad. Definitely, I think they will. I think those hits definitely will level you up. Keyword, words, as long as you don't break. That's the important part. I mean, even if you do break, eventually you'll get stronger. It just takes a little longer. That's all. Kalen says Caleb the Viper versus James Rhodes. Would that be a good match? Or is there a better match or a grudge match for James Road Mason? Yeah, I mean, there might be a grudge match with the there was supposed to be a match with an athlete, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. So Tim Lewis was his replacement match. I think it was like two or 3 weeks out or something like that. So maybe there'd be a grudge match with the athlete that wasn't able to make it. But just don't want a similar situation to happen. So maybe not a grudge match. Yeah, possibly maybe the Viper versus Rhodes might be something. I'll have to see what their weights are. See if they're similar weights. Yeah, that could be interesting. Carolyn said, I just saw Yusuf Wilson on fire at the Christmas party versus Michael Within. Yeah, it definitely must have been all that barbecue and cheesecake. Hopped them up on protein and cheesecake. She says, and Wade Roberts was amazing. Yeah, I actually didn't see his match. But knowing Wade, it was definitely a good one. Carolyn says, okay, I see and hear about this Peasley all the time, but the inside jokes about him, I don't get them. It's kind of tricky because if we went public, if we told people the jokes or about that one in particular that we're talking about, that I don't say his name unless I happen to say it reading a comment, but we can't talk about it on the YouTubes. But if you ever make it to the dungeon, I'm sure it'll be a matter of no time before you're filled in on all the inside jokes about that individual that we cannot say his name on YouTube. But that being said, it's good, clean fun. Well, maybe we'll try some of these cookies. You knew I had brownies. We also have this big old tray of cookies. It's a little cookie. But let's see. I'm gonna hop off here pretty soon. Tomorrow's video, it's either going to be super early or around noonish. We got the heat coming over tomorrow. Gonna install the heater in the labyrinth, so that'll be nice. It'll be like pretty much be like a 5-star, hotel comfortability with that heater. Usually it's a nice, comfortable, 17 degrees in there. So maybe if we could bring it up to like, maybe 40, it'd be like summertime. Ryan says, I probably won't break after working the bully strap for you for your chance prep. I'm surprised. That was incredible amount of force. No, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate you wearing the bully. But yeah, you should be good if you could survive the bully. Should be all right. So yeah, you remember what we said in the last couple lives? Great minds think alike. Brian says, Kalen, you have to come to practices and you'll be enlightened. LOL. Definitely true. Kalen says, LOL. Sounds good, Nick. LOL. Absolutely. Brian says, love to, can't wait for March, April, etc. Absolutely. Brian says, yeah, Carolyn, I'm going to be reserving some vacation days for some events next year. It's going to be good. It absolutely is. Carolyn says, all the best, Nick, and so excited for your here tomorrow. We can always appreciate with you. Do you have a thermometer on the wall? It will be night and day in 24 hours, I'm sure. I don't have a thermometer on the wall. I used to, but it was just one of those cheap mercury thermometers. But I found out as soon, it's not accurate under, 40 degrees, or I think over 90. It's not accurate, or maybe I think maybe just under. Because at a certain point, the fluid it can't shrink anymore. So once it gets to a certain temperature, it just stops reading there. And I found that out one day. I was in the gym working out. I had a cup of water, and the thermometer said 40 degrees. So I kept on telling myself it's not that cold, so I put the water down and did the workout. And I go back to take a drink of water, and the water is frozen solid. And it was at that moment I realized the thermometer might not be accurate. So it's good. I still keep the thermometer, so if anybody complains about the cold, I just show them that it's 40 degrees, so it's not that bad. But in reality, it's probably like 6 degrees. Brian says, Brian, it sure will be, bro. Me too. It's gonna be a party, absolutely, and gains. Carolyn says, interesting, Nick. And she says, holy snowflake. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of snowflakes. And I mean the real snowflakes, not the insult version when they call someone soft. I mean real snowflakes. Let's see. Brian says that's a Rocky Balboa training. Let's go. It definitely is. The only thing we're missing is I guess the accent. I think we're missing the accent. The Rocky Balboa accent. That might be the only thing. Maybe that whatever his trainer was, whatever Mike was, a Mikey or something, or either way, definitely true. Kalen says yes. Siberian Rocky. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. So I'm not sure about what type of video tomorrow, whether it would be like a single video like this one, or if we'll have, Josh on and be on the StreamYard where we can have multiple people. But if we have the StreamYard on there, if any of our friends wants to hop on, join either the pre-lift live or their lift live, definitely feel free. Kaylin says, Nick, yes, and the high chief with yourself after chance match reminds me of Rocky and his coach. Yeah, I guess I got my own little personal Rocky coach, and I'll tell you what, mine definitely has way better hair. That's definitely fact. I don't think anyone will disagree with that. Not even Rocky's coach. Laura, what's up? Says Nick, how was your day? Oh, it was great. It was a good day. Got a whole bunch of gifts and a whole bunch of treats. Just finished up some brownies. Now we're on to the cookies. But how about you? How about yourself, Laurel? How was your day? Carolyn says, sure do, Nick. Absolutely. Laurel says, that's nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. Carolyn says, Nick, oh yeah, the High Chief and stories of Sue Fitcher was epic, LL. Yeah, they definitely were. They definitely were. You should hear what the stories sound like when the camera's not on. But they're definitely a great experience to hear either way. Let's see. Laurel says I made tamales, deviled eggs, potato salad, macaroni, and the pies. That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. Some good stuff right there. Carolyn says, damn, Nick, LO. Talking about the crazy stories. Yeah, that's good. It's good stuff. You know, that actually might be partly why I don't really go live at the dungeon unless it's just, me and a few people, because, people have good sense of humor. So sometimes the topics get a little crazy. Laurel says, now I'm exhausted. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. It's almost time to rest up. But it was worth it, I bet. But it was fun. I bet the people that had the food enjoyed it. So that's good. But let's see. Let's see. Laurel says, yes, it was. And I went to visit my sister and had more food. Ah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a win-win right there. You get to see the family and you get to have more food. That's a win-win. Good old win-win. Laurel says, yes, LO. Absolutely. But guys, I'm gonna hop off in about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, maybe 30 seconds. You never know. You never know with this guy. Sometimes he says 10 minutes and it's 2 seconds. Sometimes he says 2 seconds and it's 30 minutes. You never know. Yep, just like Drew says, okay, so you're gone in 20 seconds. Yep. But I think I did say like 10 minutes ago that I was going to hop off in a couple seconds. So I guess depends on the day. But all right, guys. Let's see. Oh, Carolyn says, awesome, Nick. Great live. I just had supper with the Team Stone gang. It was awesome and inspiring as ever. Oh, thank you very much, Carolyn. That's awesome. Very true, Brian. But back on in 10 minutes. Laurel says, you have a good night, Nick. Thank you very much. You as well, Laurel. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back tomorrow morning, either super early or around noon, just depending on what time we get the heater in. But thanks for watching, and we will see